Saludos familia, my name is Gail Walker and I'm the executive director of IFCO, Pastors for Peace. The U.S. government's blockade of Cuba represents the longest running sanctions campaign against a nation. We all know that the brutal blockade has had a tremendous impact on the Cuban people, causing death, disease, and daily hardships for our Cuban family. That is why the International Cuba Solidarity Movement has struggled for decades and will continue to work to crush the blockade. But it is important to note that the blockade is not just a one-way street. The U.S. government's actions have a profound impact on the people of the United States as well. The blockade denies the people of the U.S. access to the healing powers of Cuban-manufactured medical treatments, including Simivax for treating deadly lung cancer and Herbiprot P for treating diabetic ulcers that result in deadly amputations. These are ailments that claim the lives of tens of thousands of people in the U.S., ailments that could be successfully addressed if the bull-headed U.S. government were to collaborate with Cuba's medical experts. The U.S. blockade has historically restricted the ability of people from the U.S. to freely travel to Cuba. The elimination of the people-to-people category by the Trump administration last year was an effort to limit both U.S. travel to Cuba and the economic benefits to the island nation. The intent was to undermine the world's understanding of Cuba and what Cuba represents in the international arena, to establish a disconnect between the people of Cuba and the people of the United States. That is why we at IFCO Pastors for Peace have organized our annual Friendshipment Caravans to provide an opportunity for the people of the U.S. to travel to Cuba, to see the island nation for themselves, to educate the U.S. people about the vicious, unlawful effects of the U.S. government's actions, to shine a bright light on the endless ways that the U.S. has worked to vilify Cuba, conducting a pervasive campaign of misinformation, lying about everything from Cuba's refusal to allow freedom of speech and elections to describing Cuba's beautiful global medical internationalism that helps to provide doctors across the globe to combat death and disease as a campaign of slavery. Despite the punitive actions of the U.S. government, we at IFCO Pastors for Peace are determined to continue our solidarity with Cuba, from organizing caravans and educational delegations to recruiting young people to study medicine at Cuba's Latin American School of Medicine. We are grateful for all that Cuba represents, and we are prepared to continue to fight the U.S. government's immoral, unjust, and illegal blockade of Cuba. Somos continuidad. Somos Cuba. Venceremos.